Hello and welcome to our daily sketching routine. It's Friday, May the 9th, 2025, and today's topic, and it may take a couple of days, but to begin with, today's topic will be drawing a head model sheet. But before we begin, welcome back if you're returning, and welcome if you're new to the channel. I sketch and post every day, and I use a timer to stay focused and to build a habit. I'll start a 10-minute timer. And yeah, let's just kind of jump into it. It's going to be a head model sheet. Yeah, so the idea comes from the character model sheets, which in the community post, I posted some images of this, and I did a whole video series on it, and it'll be kind of similar, but a little bit different. So basically the idea is that I want to take, just like do the head, and then, but like fit more on here and kind of explain as I go along, and it might be interesting if you want to follow along, or yeah, just get some ideas. So with this model sheet, I want to do, like I said, like the head, but I want it to be generic enough, or like kind of like a base model, to where not only can it be like male or female, but also like different types of heads and stuff like that. So with the basic kind of like proportions, because I think it would be handy, and I think it would be kind of a good thing to go over. So yeah, let's just get started. So what I'm going to do is fit about I am going to fit like 6. That's the idea. I'm going to be pretty loose about it to begin with. I'll start with a pencil, so there's like a lead holder. Draw pretty loosely at first, at least to get this first one, and then I'll use a ruler to kind of get all the proportions the same. So for example, I'm going to decide, this is the front view, so I'm going to decide to make it about like fit kind of like that, because I want to have like 6 of them. So I can roughly, this isn't like the right way to do this. This is an example of how you could do it. But my goal is to do it. I'll kind of go over like what my goal with it is, which is, one, I want to be able to actually use them. So that's one thing, like just personally. The other thing is, like I said, it needs to be basic enough to where I can adapt it to different types of characters, because ultimately that's, I want to draw characters. Now, if this is something that is still like you're still practicing this, then I would kind of get ideas from this, but then draw a lot of different heads. But like if you're wanting to move towards character design, or like drawing from imagination, like this would help. At least that's what I think. So that's like rough, like I just roughly laid that out. Before I kind of go in with like a ruler, I'm going to just work on like the first one. So yeah, we'll start with like the front view. So there's different ways to draw heads. I just started with like the rectangle for the fact that it's more technical, like it's like a head turnaround. So the idea is that this is going to be the front view, and then 3/4, and then a side view, like a profile, and then keep turning. And I'll just go over that. So in today's video, I'll just sketch in like those poses. I find like sometimes it's easier for like symmetry purposes, to use like a rectangle. So I'm going to divide it. So this is the rectangle right here. So yeah, it's just like a rectangular shape. And I'm doing it loosely on this first one to start to get like the proportions set down, so that I can adjust it, and then I'll use this as like the basis for the rest of it. Here's a rectangle shape. There's just different ways of setting this up, but my main thing is to get the overall like shape of it first. So for example, this top part, I'm just gonna kind of do this ellipse, and then this bottom part here, I'm going to do another ellipse, but start to taper it, kind of like the egg shape, but like the more tapered part is down here. So I find that a rectangle helps get the symmetry, since this is a front view, and it also needs to be kind of extra symmetrical because it's a model sheet. So that's how to do that. So this top part is a little bit, and I won't ink it today. And since it is a model sheet, I want to keep it basic. I don't want to add too much characteristics because sometimes the jaw could be more square, etc. So that's one way to do that. And then this middle line, it's kind of up to you to decide if that's the eyes or like the brows. It depends, but it's going to be within like this area right here. It depends on the character, but it's within kind of like that area. So that's like the basics. And then from here, you can add some of the neck. Again, keeping it kind of generic. So that's like the basic front view. And then for the 3/4, so now that we have this, it would be good to go ahead and just do like some straight lines. So let me do that real quick, and I may fast forward, but I may not. Let me get this out of the way because it might be helpful to see it. So this is pretty handy, especially for drawing comics and for stuff like this, like a triangle. Now that I have this, I'm just going to use the triangle to get the corners. So that's like the corners. So to get the height, another useful tool is this, I think it's called a divider or like a compass thing. So it's helpful to get the height correctly. So I'll give it a little bit of space. So that's how I got the height correctly. So that's basically how you get that set up. And yeah, you can go back in and make the line straighter, but that's pretty good. You can also get the width like this. So that's how you get the height, the width correctly, and line it up. There'll be 6 total. And I'll still keep it kind of loose. It doesn't have to be like exact, but you can see that the center line helps. Same with this. You might want to get the center line right here. So yeah, it might be good to find out where the center is. This one, we'll just extend it. So those are pretty close. All right, so that's the front view. Let's do a 3/4 view. So this is this rectangle. One, I want to do this kind of quickly, but at the same time, be accurate. So that's like the main thing I would recommend, is be accurate about it. And then the other thing is to have it be general enough to where you can like not make it look like a specific character, like make it look more like a base model. So with that said, so in the 3/4, and it doesn't even have to be like exactly 3/4. So we have this one, but then I want to put like another one where it's like kind of facing another direction. And it doesn't have to be like identical 3/4. So what I mean is, so for example, this is kind of like one way of doing this, where drawing the face, and it'll be a kind of like the ellipse here, but more smaller, not quite as round, a more narrow ellipse. So that's like the face. And then back here, it's like a circle. So that's like the cranium. So that'll be the face, and that'll be like the cranium. And it, again, just use the rectangle as kind of a guide. It'll go kind of within it, but it can go beyond it a little bit. It's probably better to have it go a little bit beyond And then for the neck, it's kind of this. So yeah, if you're still learning proportions, you might want to study this. And even if you're not, let's say you have kind of your own way. I mean, this will work. This is because this is so basic, it'll work. But you might have your own kind of, and you can adjust the proportions to get like the look. So that's kind of what I mean. Like this is either the eye line or like the brow. I think it's like, it just depends on the character. So here's the profile. So in the profile view, this is basically the face right here, like the front. It's a little bit more circle. Right here. Extends out a little bit more in the back. Just kind of, for now, just kind of keep it as a curve for like the jaw, because it depends. And then the ears are kind of right here. And then the neck starts, you can use that as a guide. So again, there's slight differences, and that's what gives a face like its kind of specific look. But this is the basic proportion. Like, for example, like this part where the chin, like there's different looks to that. And that's why I wanted to do a base model that is just useful. It's useful for character design, but it's also useful for when you're studying, like from reference, you can kind of see. I'd bring the ears down a little bit. It's a little bit high. So that's like the profile. Just to kind of keep it turning, how about it might be good to do like a back view right here, because that's the front, and then this will be kind of like a back view, like 3/4, maybe another 3/4, but like almost like a profile. That could be a useful one, actually. The back view is basically like the front. So I'm going to draw that ellipse like from the front view, and then the neck is kind of, it's not quite in the middle, kind of like right here. That's really that's really it. And then you might want to draw like this, the cranium part, and then the front of the face is hidden. Then here, it's kind of a back view, because this view is sort of helpful, like just to have a guide. So for example, it's kind of like this, where the face is sort of predominant. However, here, like the back of the head is like kind of the predominant thing. But then the front of the face is kind of like that ellipse right here. It's being hidden, so you have the neck right here. So that's the cranium. The neck is coming out. And then the front of the face itself is kind of like right here. And that's like the side. I haven't really talked about like the ears too much, but basically they would be a little bit like right here. I'll go into more detail in tomorrow's Like for like, these are like the smaller like features, like the nose and eyes and stuff and the ears. Again, I'm keeping it kind of basic just because they can look a little different. Like with the back view here, they're kind of like right here. Like they come off the ear or the head. And again, there's just variations. It just depends on how the bones and like the skin and stuff. So that's that view, which is almost a back view, but a 3/4 like from the back view. So this one will be kind of like a profile, just to have it go like the other way, because the idea is I want to ink it and then I can trace over it. But then you can also use tracing paper, like if you need the profile but to go the other way. And then so yeah, kind of a like basically a profile, like right here. So in this one, it's like a combo of this one and this one. So let's say it's a profile, but like kind of like this. So do that ellipse. So maybe this one is more like right here. You see more like this part, like the far side of the face. This one, you see less of that far side. So it's more almost like a profile, because that kind of shows up kind of often. So basically, yeah, it would be more narrow, like this ellipse. You'd see more of like the side of the face. Just to kind of close out this video, I would just leave it in pencil and just kind of work out see if you can get it to look pretty similar, like the same model, the nose. So this, again, this area, the eyes kind of fit in there, like it's like the eye socket area, but it's like different because of the features like on the surface. But then the nose, you can kind of, it's not exactly in the middle. Like if this is the line right here, so it's not I mean, you can adjust that, so that's why it's kind of good to use like a light pencil like this. Same with this. You might not see very much of it on this view right here. And then this one is almost like a profile, but you're going to see some of that far side right there. So that'll be it for today. Tomorrow I will do a more finished drawing. What I would do, like if you want to kind of work on this on your own, is yeah, have a little bit like more finished. You can use a mechanical pencil to do the more like finished look. And I would just kind of outline everything, because it's supposed to be like a model so that the lighting could be from different directions. So I would outline. But this is sort of going into like the different forms of the face. So maybe tomorrow will be like the different forms. But again, the idea is to keep it generic enough so that you can adjust it and not make it look too much like a specific character. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions, and hopefully this was helpful. I'm just gonna like work on this, and it might take 2 or 3 videos, but I want to thank you for joining me for our daily sketching routine. And if you enjoy these videos, please support the channel. I appreciate it. And until next time, keep on sketching.